Hi everyone. On April 30th, the Holy Orthodox Church celebrates the memory of a wonderful saint, actually one of the new martyrs of the Turkish yoke. Her name is Argyre. Now, Argyre was one of many young women who underwent similar difficulties to that which she engaged. Now, what exactly were those difficulties? Well, we all know that during the times of the Turkish yoke, many Christians actually volunteered to go down and to confess Christ willingly. Others were sort of pulled into it for various reasons. And some, like Argyre, were actually the victims of Turkish lust. In this case, this wonderful woman, who was very pious and very beautiful by all accounts, was married to a young Christian man. Yet, at the time, there was a Turkish man who saw her and desired her and approached her. But she, of course, would have none of it. So, as often happens in these sorts of cases, this Turkish man took her before the magistrate and insisted that Argyre had said that she wanted to become a Muslim. Argyre denied this, of course, and said, no, this is not true at all. I'm not ever going to deny my faith. And because of this, the magistrate then cast her into prison. Now, her husband, who was watching all of this from afar, thought that perhaps she would have a better chance if she were taken to Constantinople, also known, unfortunately, as Istanbul. Well, she did have her case appear in Constantinople, but this same young man, this young Turkish man, who had made the original accusation, followed her there. Now, Argyre was from Prussa, which at the time was a town that was very, very popular and thriving during the Byzantine Empire, about 60 miles south of Constantinople. So he made the journey up there in order to accuse her yet again before the magistrates in the great city. Well, again, she made the same denial and said, no, this is not true, and that she was not going to give up her faith in Christ. The magistrate then took her and he threw her into prison, where she was subjected to many, many beatings, day after day after day. And in fact, she remained there in that prison for 17 years. During that time, she was beaten. She was subjected to all sorts of insults by the Turkish women who were in prison. But yet there were also a number of Christian women that were there too, who gave her encouragement and to whom she gave encouragement also. Finally, when the time seemed to be coming towards an end, she was able to have her case dismissed after 17 years. But lo and behold, at this point, prison had become to her, as it says in her life, like a king's palace. It is where she lived. It is where she struggled. Even though she endured all sorts of hardships, she actually learned to inflict more hardships upon herself for the sake of Christ, spending many, many hours in prayer, denying herself as much as possible, engaging in ascetic activities that we can only imagine. And so when her time for release finally came, she would not go. She stayed there. This had become her new home. This had become her church. This had become her place of ultimate salvation. And so she ended her life there. And this, of course, is not all that long ago, but in the year 1725. The Christians there took her body once she had died, what can only be accounted a martyric death, and buried it. And then 3 years later, they went back into the grave to exhume her remains, and there was a great fragrance, an incorrupt body and a fragrance that just was wonderful everywhere. And so the Christians, being thrilled by this as a testimony to her faith and witness to Christ, they took her and put her in the church of Saint Paraskevi. And even today, that is where she remains. Many pilgrims go to visit Saint Argyre there. Many go to receive healings and to offer their prayers and supplications to her that she might intercede before the Lord, whom she loved so much that she would not even consider freedom once it was offered. By her prayers, may we also all learn to love the Lord in that type of manner, regardless of what sort of place or position we might find ourselves in. Bye-bye.